ಇಲ್ಲ ಫೋಟೋ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾರ್ದು. ಇದೆ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್.
Good morning and warm welcome to you all.
ದಯಾನಂದ್.
I'm Vaibhav, your host for today. Let's continue with our 114th virtual webinar. Our topic for today is business succession planning. It shall be taken by Mr. Ravi Mamodia. He shall cover how one can plan for the succession to transfer the business for more than 3 generations, 5-step approach to plan for the succession, basic about the will, what if one dies without will, followed by question and answer session. Let's quickly go through the agenda. Virtual inauguration by Dr. Sundar Kataria, invoking the blessing of deity, chanting of Gayatri Mantra, introduction of speaker, presentation by Mr. Ravi Mamodia, question and answer session, and last closing session. A brief introduction of Dr. Kataria. Sadgun Sangh conceived and led by Dr. Sundar Kataria, driven with the mission to elevate the quality, safety, and environmental awareness levels of industry. Sadgun Sangh is a series of educative, informative events aiming to illuminate professionals on possible solutions to current issues of industry and economy. Let's know more about Dr. Kataria. Designation and organization: Chairman and Managing Director, International Certification Services Private Limited. Academic qualification: Doctorate in Business Management, Mechanical Engineer. His experience are Rajasthan Atomic Power Project, India's first nuclear power plant, RAPP at Rawatbata, Kota, built by Indian engineers. Work as nuclear scientist for 11 years and successfully completed and commissioned the plant. Engineers India Limited, first batch of engineers to develop Bombay High offshore oil and gas fields, mega offshore complex platform, trunk and submarine pipelines, underwater inspection and indigenization oil and gas equipment, etc. That Norsec Versatile's world largest classification society, worked for 17 years at various capacity for the certification of fixed offshore installations, submarine pipelines, onshore projects and personnel qualification, underwater inspection divers. ICS. He is founder of India's first certification conformance assessment body, established in the year 1999, provider of total quality solution, certification of management system, ISO inspection, testing and training qualification of personnel. Achievements and awards: received Lifetime Achieve Award for the contribution for the corrosion technologies from NACE International by NIGIS under NACE USA. Social worker, protection of lives, assets, environmental and safety. Now I request Dr. Kataria to virtually inaugurate the session.
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Please join us for the recitation of the Gayatri Mantra.
Swah
introduction of our today's keynote speaker, Mr. Ravi Momodia. His designation and organization, author, Business Succession Planning, published by Taxman. His academic qualification are Chartered Accountant, BCom, Certified GST by Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, area of specialization and experience, founder member of Jaipur Chartered Accountants Group, president for the year 2022 and 21 of Jaipur Chartered Accountants Group, executive member of Tax Consultants Association Jaipur, founder member and secretary of Sri Chaitanya Youth Society Jaipur, mentor at JECRC Startup Cell. Please welcome Mr. Ravi Momodia, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Evo, for a wonderful introduction. And I hope everybody is able to see me and able to listen my voice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So before we start, I really congratulate to the wonderful committee who is organizing these kind of program. Across the India, it is very easy to share the knowledge now by this virtual mode. And I really appreciate the kind of efforts you guys are doing, the kind of follow-up, the kind of work that has been put up for the backend. Thank you so much for having me here with my topic, business succession planning, very close to my heart, and I really wanted to talk to everybody about this. So before we start up this session, I just really wanted to talk to you before. My throat is not well, please excuse me for any of the inconveniences happens. So being on a virtual mode, it is very difficult to interact with the people. So first, I request everybody, those who are able to on their camera, if we are able to make one face-to-face conversation, let's start a meeting with that. If it is possible for anybody who can open up the camera so that we can have one-to-one discussion, so that we can see each other once and then, so that we can dive into, so that at least we are able to understand that we are talking to a person, not to a computer. And to keep the session interactive, I request everybody that use the chat box. I'll keep on asking that what you're feeling. Are you agreeing with me? Is it really feel good? Or are you able to understand that what I am saying? Please keep on writing on the chat box so that it will be an interactive two-way session rather than being a communication on the one side. I hope you are able to understand that what I am saying. Right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for all the people who have been showing up and really appreciate. Thank you. So before we start, somebody has put me up that what is your expectation out of the today's topic, or what do you feel that what is the succession is all about, and why a person in the age of 30s talking about the succession? Actually, it's a topic of the 60s. Then why we are here to talk about this topic here? Anybody? If you can unmute yourself, if we can interact, that would be good for us.
Yeah, good morning, Ravi. This is Dayanand here.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. See, knowledge can be shared by any person of any age. The age is not the criteria for sharing the knowledge. However, I see that the participants are really, they require this type of knowledge, especially the business succession plan. And you having the knowledge of your being from the accountancy field, I think so it will be, I'm sure that you will make this program very interesting and informative also for all of us. I am also a businessman. I'm looking forward to the really true sense, looking forward for this business succession plan, as well as the financing is concerned, accountancy is concerned, handover transition is concerned. Because throughout our lifetime, we do the business, and this main crucial point we forget. And we know what happened in the Ambani family also. There was no business succession plan. And unnecessarily it got the cheap level media attention because of such type of things. So this mistake, basically non-doing this business succession plan is, I would say that it is a mistake. And I think so you are the right person, and this institution who has organized this program, especially Shital Nevalkar, she has invited me for this particular program to attend. Thank you very much, and look forward for your information and knowledge on the subject matter.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll definitely try to give the best of mine. And you're right when you're saying that people really don't understand that how this topic can create a mess in their life. and that is really required to talk on time. So let's dive into the today's topic and let's begin the session with my presentation. Wherever in the presentation, in the meantime, you feel like that you're not getting, you want more clarity, or you want to go deep into, then we can stop right there and we can go into that. So whenever I talk about the succession, I really remember this. राजा का बेटा राजा बनेगा या अब राजा वो बनेगा जो हकदार होगा. A very famous dialogue of this movie, Super 30. So I feel that whenever I talk about the succession, a lot of entrepreneurs says me, मेरा बड़ा बेटा तैयार है भाई, he'll be entering into the business and he'll do and he'll take care of my entire business. He's the competent one and he'll do it. But I always say them, let us judge the competency of the people who are into a team, in our family, and see that will be a better successor for your business. To start with, I'll just brief out you that what is my today's plan with you. We'll discuss why entrepreneurs should understand about the succession first. Second, what is the big secret of the multinational companies that they do to unlock their potential? When is the right time to plan for it? And my 5-step approach to plan for the succession and wheel of the succession. This is the agenda that I wanted to share with you. So in this 60 minutes, I'm really not the one who can make the succession plan ready in front of you in this just 60 minutes. It's a big process, a long process. I'm just trying to make you what conscious about this topic so that you can understand that how you can start with this. We'll have interaction and fun. We'll definitely give you the secret of those big families, that how they can keep their values intact and forward into the next generation, and see that why not next generation is don't want it to continue into the business. What are those things which a businessman should do so that they can come out with these kind of problem and they should not face these kind of problem in their businesses. So before we start, let me dive into my own journey with you and the importance that why I feel that succession is important, why people should talk about this. Why people should talk about this, will understand all of these topics. So in 2011, I was a CA aspirant before that, and I qualified as a chartered accountant in 2011. Since then, I went to a practice. I started my practice with a few of my friends, and we started a practice by opening a accountancy firm in Jaipur, Rajasthan. The things was going pretty well, 2012 to 2016, but 2016, I suddenly realized that our partnership is not working well. And the first crashing point of my life has came up. In the same year, 2016 was a very shocking year for me. I lost my father in a train accident. It was a sudden demise. And my mother and my father was traveling to some religious place. And in the way, by a train accident, I lost my father. So this 2016 has bring up a lot of changes into my life. Being an elder one into a family, I have to understand the consequences of the family in the financial terms. Along with this, I have to parallelly understand the emotional part of my family. And being a chartered accountant, I try to understand that how the finances and things are looks like and how I can make a better control of it. And the emotional side was very dangerous because my mother has saw that accident. She has taken my father from that place to a hospital, and a lot of mess has happened into that journey. So I realized in that 2016, being a chartered accountant, I got so much pissed off with the kind of formalities and things are happening. My father was a government employee. A lot of hiccups for the insurances, a lot of hiccups for taking out their gratuity, pension, and all of those funds which he has planned. The investment which he has did into the land and other places, FDs, lot of hiccups in all the places. I still remember I have to take 2 bags to my office, one to my office work, and second in which I have a complete document of my father so that I can go almost on a daily basis either to an insurance company or to a bank or to my demat accounts or papa's, all the places so that I can collate and make them understand and take the things at a one place. And it took me 2 years, sir, to collate everything and understand that how the things are happening, and then parallelly balance the things into my life. 2016 to 19 was a big year for me because gradually I grown up into my family. My daughter was 1 year when my father has passed away. So newly married, a lot of things, but now the balance has started taking up. And in 2019, we all has faced the COVID. I'm just about to recover from the things and the COVID has came up. So in the COVID, I think that I realized that I have learned a lot of things in this transition phase, or in this phase where I'm able to understand that what the financial document should look like when somebody passed away. What kind of document should be prepared in the early so that we can plan the succession into a right way. How our documentation should be done, how the family needs to be planned for it, how the insurance and other documents should be kept in, what is the importance of nominee, what is the importance of will, all of these kind of things. So I realized that why to keep it with me, let's share with the people. And I started writing about it. And just to give a basic information to our people, suddenly one of my friend came to me and said that, why don't you go and publish this? I said, I'm not an author, I'm just simply a chartered accountant, just writing to make the people understand, because I feel might I'll pass away in this COVID. So at least whatever I've learned, I just wanted to share it with this. So in 2020, again, I got a chance to interact with the Texman. He's one of the finest publisher into our domain. And I pitched them with my topic. They really appreciated it. And then I launched my first book in 2021, 22, 23. We have come up with a revised edition. So what really I wanted to say out of this complete my story, my own story, that during my lifetime, I automatically realized the importance of the succession. And I really feel that income may what we all have faced it, either in our close family or into an extended family. But we know what are the consequences, be it into Rajasthan or be it into Kerala, be it into Kashmir or be it any place in this world. Succession is something which is going to happen. Succession is a time that needs to be talked upon. Succession is a thing that people should understand and go into deep into it. So I really love the lines of Ray Dalio. If you are not feeling, you are not pushing yourself to your limits. And if you are not pushing to yourself to your limit, you are not maximizing your potential. So I really wanted to maximize my potential by pushing my limits and keep on failing. But this failure brings some good things into my life. This book has came up. I inaugurated with this book to the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, ex-Chief Minister of Rajasthan. I went to many people just to distribute this book so that people should understand the importance of this topic, published many articles so that people can talk about it. So just wanted to create a community where people wanted to talk about the succession. Do you know what, sir? The first chapter of my book is that people don't want to talk about death. So the people don't want to talk about the succession also. Whenever we talk about the succession, the first fear came into our mind is death. And once the death thing comes up, our brain shuts up. He says that, baat nahi karni, don't talk about this topic, let's move ahead. But I really wanted to create a community who wanted to talk about the death, who wanted to talk about the succession, who wanted to see the life ahead and beyond, so that we can at least liberate this body into a right way, in a very better and beautiful way. So that is what my objective behind to conduct these kind of session and talk about this topic. So I traveled across, reached to our people and just talk about this topic. So now, that was something basic so that I can make you understand that why I'm talking about this topic, what the importance of it, and till now what I'm able to do and why I'm here. If death is something inevitable, one should try to die well.
I don't want to keep my book like this.
Sorry, but I got a voice from the middle. Can you keep yourself on a mute? Rishi? Yeah, thank you. So, if death is something inevitable, one should try to die well. Die well. What is the problem in this? We all know that we will die one day. Then why not to try to die well? If we all know one day we have to leave this business, if we all know that one day we have to leave this estate, wealth and property, why not to plan for it in a right way? So now the question arises, many people came to me and they say कि रवि बात तो बहुत करते हो, but express करने का तरीका तो बताओ, that how to do it, what are the ways to do it, is there any steps, is there any approach to do this? Will direct तो नहीं बना सकते, what are the steps to take forward? So today we'll talk about this, that why and how we can talk about death in a right way and how we can plan for the succession in a better way. So before we dive in, I'll talk about you through a Hindu mythology. Lord Vishnu is having two kind of vehicles. One is Sarp, second is Garud. If you have all heard about it. Garud Puran is something that in my area, that when people has passed away, we have to take this Garud Puran for 15 days into our family. One from a temple, a person will come and talk about the Garud Puran and how the life and spirit travels and everything that he talks about. That is Garud Puran. So Lord Vishnu, we have all seen that he is lying onto a Sheshnag and watching the well-being of the complete world. And on the parallelly, he sits on the Garud and he travel complete world and see that how the things are moving. So these are the two vehicles which Lord Vishnu has used, to travel and to see and to be there in this world. I sometimes realize, and many a time my ideology comes up, that Lord Vishnu wanted to talk about the two kind of views from this. One is Sarpa view, second is Garuda view. What is Sarpa view? Sarpa view is a very limited view, a very limited area, a very limited understanding, but to see to a limit. And Garud is something a bird eye view, where we can see the complete world in a more bigger way, in a bigger picture. All the businessmen are also having these two kind of view. My experience says that. One is Sarpa view. What is Sarpa view? Their day-to-day operation, their things in which they are stuck up into when they enter into a business, their cash flows, their purchases, their credentials, their everything, they end up doing these kind of things repeatedly. That is what I call the Sarpa view. Second is Garud view. Garud view is a bird eye view, where the business owner plan for doing a business for next 5 years, 10 years, how the things will look like. All of these kind of things has discussed been as called a Garud view. Maximum of time, I feel that we in our life take the Sarpa view. We just don't want to see beyond this. We just have to, and we have to understand the importance of this Garud view also. And those business owners who are able to take the Garud view in their life, they are these people now. They all are the SMEs in the beginning. Reliance, Tata, Apollo, Bajaj, Bikaji, Haldiram, Talwalkers, anybody, take out anybody, they all are the family businesses who have grown up to this level now. The only difference by the promoter of these companies is that they have not taken a Sarpa view in their life, but they have taken a Garud view. They have seen a big picture of their business, of their life, of their ways. And that is how they make these big names today. So, what is succession planning then? So after making you understand the importance of this and how we are going to travel and understand this topic more, now we'll make you understand that what is succession planning is exactly, how the word succession planning should be used. Succession planning is nothing but a smooth transition of your business from one leader to another that can be within the family or outside the family, so that the business can be planned in a proper and systematic way. Again, I'm reading it. Succession planning is nothing but a smooth transition of your business from one leader to another that can be within the family or outside the family, so that business can be planned in a proper and systematic way. चलिए, before moving ahead, पहले मैं एक बार यहाँ पे जानना चाहूंगा on the chat box, please write so that I can see all the people that they are alive, they are talking to me, we are interacting. How many of you feel that you have taken a Sarpa view, and how many of you feel that you are in a Garud view in your life? Sarp likhiye, SARP if you think that you have a Sarpa view. Write Garud, GARUD if you are having a Garud view in your life or wanted to take a Garud view. Garud view, very good, sir. Rest all the people, we are having a 50 participants today. At least 5% participants should, or 10% participants should answer. Right. So everybody wants majorly a Garud view. Everybody wanted to see that how we can make a proper and better and bigger picture of our life. So that is what the succession going to help for this. Businesses cannot be run by creating the just one generation business. If they go beyond the generation, then only they can create or become that big name or that big picture that we really wanted to create. So succession is nothing but a smooth transition of your business from one leadership to another that can be within the family or outside the family. That is what the succession is, right? Chaliye. So why to plan for the succession? We have understood that what is succession planning. That now it's time to came that why to plan for it. Is it really required? So I usually say we have to plan for it for the long-term strategic thinking of our business and the family. We must plan for it to for keeping our family values intact. We have to plan for it for the tax planning purposes. Finding a right kind of a successor, providing a better and career opportunity to our employees, to within the family member. Align the individual aspirants and aspects into a business. Legacy bonding, saving and growth of your business and estates. And if death is something which I have already told you is inevitable, but nobody wanted to come out of that comfort zone and talk about this. So I really feel that when we plan for the succession, we are able to answer all of these things into our life, and we are able to go into a right direction of our life. So we have understood that what is succession planning and why to plan for it. There is one more important aspect of planning. There is one research of Boston Consulting Group, BCG. It is not my research, it is a Boston Consulting Group research, which is one of the finest consulting group of this world. He talked that when somebody plans for the succession and don't plan for the succession, what will happen? They says that if there is a planned transition, then we are able to reduce the revenue spent on the capital employed by 14%. If that has happened, planned transition will lead to 28% of your market capitalization. It will increase your market capitalization by 28%, and it is going to increase the EBITDA by 5%. How many of you agree with this fact? Put yes if you are agreeing with this. Put yes if you agree with this. Right. So why I am agreeing on this fact, I'll give you a very, very beautiful and very simple example. I'm a chartered accountant and I do my practicing work. In my practicing work, we have a lot of computers, PCs into our systems in our office. On the day 30th, the last date of filing of the returns, my server has crashed. I'm not able to work, my team is not able to work. We urgently call our person who has been taken an AMC of all of our server and all of these things. We have called him and asked him to come. He is not able to come, and he said that I am not well today because my health is not good. He sent somebody else, he fixed up the things. Gradually on the third day, first or third, second, I realized that the person who comes as an AMC for our computers is running in the age of 60s. He came alone. He never come with his some team person or a family person who can assist him for the next time. Suddenly one thing has clicked to me that he is not having a succession plan in his head. I decided to shift my vendor and my AMC from that person to another because I know that he's running into that age where these kind of health issues is going to come up again and again. And obviously my business should not hamper out of this. A lot of time your vendors are also thinking to the right way in these kind of way. Even we think in the same way. If you are taking a supply from somebody and if that person is running into that age and he has not planned for the succession, his next generation is not coming into a picture, then obviously you'll also start planning to see some another vendor who can supply you. And your customer is also looking forward for the same kind of a thing. So I believe this fact is really true. That if we plan for the succession, then market capitalization, our market presence is definitely going to increase. Our EBITDA is definitely going to increase because the market is having more footing with us. And for that, we can charge a premium to our people, premium to the society. That is what the succession planning helps us for. So now, when to plan for it? Can somebody answer from the team, from the group? What is the right time to plan for the succession? What is the right age when to plan for it? So I've talked about what is succession planning, why succession planning. Now, when to plan for it, and then we'll move to how part of it. If you'll not answer, I'll not take the session forward. When should succession be planned? What is the right age, time, level? Mid-age may be after 10 to 15, 5 to 10 years. of the business commencement. 40 years, earliest is the better, mid-age, 50 to 55. Nice. 20 is better. After 60. Cool. So my study and my understanding of the succession planning says that a Chinese product has stopped coming to the market, but Provoke still works. The best time to grow a plant is 20 years back, and the second best time is right now. I really feel that succession planning takes at least 10 to 15 years to get it into place. It is not a day's job. It is not a month's time job that aapne ek assignment liya, that you have picked up an assignment that I'll finish up my succession planning in this 1 month. That is not going to be the case, because the one who's coming and taking the place, you have to groom him. You have to make him ready so that he can take your business to the next level. It cannot be a random click, or it cannot be a random place where you can start with. So for example, if you are planning for the success, you want to plan for a retirement. So I'm a chartered accountant student, and a chartered accountants, you always teach us that last date ke upar dekho that where you wanted to reach. So last is that we wanted to clarify the exam. So before that, we planned that we must do our course this much at this point of time. So that is what applies here also. So what I wanted to say that if you want to retire into the age of 16, then plan your succession in the age of 45 to 50. Start planning for it. If you want to retire at the age of 65, 70, then accordingly make the back calculation and decide the year from which you must start planning for the 10 to 15 years looks a long period. No, sir. Actually, when we give the transition to this phase, the people will come up. Your next generation is going to come up. A lot of challenges of the market, and you have to make him room to all the segment. Finance, marketing, introduction to the vendor, every kind of thing that you have learned in the 30 years, you have to give him and impart to him, and make your team also ready for that.
Can I ask you one question here?
Yeah, please, sir.
See, normally when the acquisition takes place, my experience is that with the clients, they keep the old company's managing director as a CEO for the new business for around 3 to 4 years, maximum 5 years. That's why I commented that 5 to 10 years is a long period.
Right. So what happens, sir, then when the business, any family members comes into a business, this transition may be covered into the 5 years, but the study and my understanding says that at least the planning part. For example, we have to make a convince to our children that they should come in. We have to make them and give them an impart and them a right kind of knowledge set that they have to develop. Right kind of a education that they need for all of those kind of a thing that needs to be planned into that way so that they can come and hand over this. Obviously, it is possible that this can be a transition for 3 years, 5 years that you can do, definitely. But majority of the studies and my experience also says that it will take, because I'll give you one more example, sir. We really raised a very nice question. So have you seen a baby, small baby? When we play with a baby of say few months or a year, just a year-old baby, हम उसके साथ में खेलते हैं, गोदी में खेलते हैं, he pulls up our hands. We give him a finger and he holds it. We have to push hard, very hard, then only he leaves the fingers. Many a time we feel that the baby loves us so much, and he knows that I am his grandfather, father, or whatever, and he don't want it to leave me. He understands me, or he loves me, or she loves me. But the truth is, baby learn to hold the things first, and after a few months, he learn how to leave it. Right? The transition is also the same kind of a thing. The business owner has made a strong grip into their businesses, and it takes too hard to leave that business and give it to somebody else. And this transition really takes a time. One has to learn to grow the business, and leaving the business is another art. It is not a one-day job. Gonna take time. That is what my point is. Right. So business life cycle. So what next is, after understanding that gonna take 10 years, say for the better purpose, 5 years means at some point of time, but it's gonna take time. It is not gonna happen in few months. That is what we all are agreeing on the same. So business life cycle. What is the business life cycle? A businessman ideate something that I wanted to do this. An entrepreneur ideates it at the first stage. Second stage comes where is startup stage, where he start the business, sees the hiccups, prototype comes in, and then he experiments for it. Then a growth phase comes up, where he'll plan the growth for the business. And a maturity stage, established and maturity stage comes. All the people, rather 95% of the population is talking about all of these stages. How to ideate, how a startup should grow, how a growth stage should come, how a mature stage should be handled into a right way. Our financial expert and everybody nearby us is talking about all the 4 stages of this. But nobody talks about this last stage. This is also a stage of our business. As we grow up, we come to a death. In the same way, the business also gets the same kind of a life cycle. There is no death into a business because that can go perpetually. The only thing is the exit of the owner and the entry of the new person who can take the books forward from there. That is what a business life cycle looks like. So now the point comes in that how to plan for it. So what is business succession planning? When to plan for it, and what we have talked. What is business succession planning? What, how, what, when. Sorry, I skipped it. Yeah. So why succession planning? What is succession planning? Why to plan for it? And when to plan for it? Now it's a time came where we should understand that how to plan for it. Is anybody has made any kind of an effort for this kind of a thing? That how to plan for it? I'll give you a very answer. Study through many books, many philosophers who are working and dealing into this segment. I made this 5-step approach, which I feel a very profound approach for planning for the succession. And that is what I am saying, that succession takes time. First stage, owner's vision stage, where the owner should get a clarity about his own vision, understand that where he wanted to take the forward to the business. Second is family constitution, how the family structure looks like, what are the requirements of the family, what family wants, what are the positive and negative of the family people. The third stage comes in where we make an alignment between the owner's vision and the family. Then successor identification and grooming comes up. And the last stage, ownership transfer and estate planning. If we make all of these 5 steps in a right way, our retirement or exit strategy is automatically ready with us. People say that I wanted to exit, but I don't know how. These are the ways to forward. If you'll follow this, then definitely you can plan your exit into a right time. When I talk about the succession, people feel that I want to talk about the will. I want to talk about the estate planning. I want to talk about the creation of a trust. But before this creation of a trust and all of these financial aspects comes in, these are the 4 important steps before that. And we must not forget all of these. Owner vision. Excuse me. Owner's vision, family constitution, alignment of business and family, identification and of your successor and grooming it, and then ownership transfer and estate planning. So now let's talk about one-to-one. And remember that documentation is something that we have to do to all the levels. All the levels means which I have talked to you right away. Owner's vision, family constitution, alignment, grooming, identification and grooming of the successor, and then the estate planning. We feel that estate planning needs to be documented, but all the 4 stages needs to be documented so that we can communicate to the next generation into a right way, so that we must know that how to take it forward. What are the things that is required? So family values, what are the structure of the family legacies, value statement, vision statement, family constitution, contingency plan, estate planning, will, everything needs to be documented so that whatever we have planned, we have put it into a one place and the next generation can easily take it forward from there. It cannot understand until we make them understand about this. The succession planning really needs a very open-mindedness. When I asked you about all of these 4 stages, The two stages which are very initial stage, owner vision and family constitution, are the very critical emotional stages of the business. I feel that a businessman and a family and a business cannot be segregated. They are mixed. For example, we have seen that in a Tata group, they value the employees the most. Their transparency is very nice. Their integrity towards the nation is very nice. Where this all has came from? This all has came from the family values. The family values has been impacted into a business, and there how they are able to create the family vision and values of their business into a right way. So these two things at the beginning is very critical to understand. So for this, we have to be very open-minded. If I'm saying open-minded is radically open, that we must understand the opinion of other family members, our son, daughter, everybody in the family should have the right way to communicate. Everybody is having a different kind of a vision and perception, and we must appreciate it, and we must see it, and we must document it to the best level possible. So that it should not be only your plan, but your family's plan, so that they can take it forward in a better way. You must be open to accept the reality and the things which is required. When I talk about the succession planning, no, people always feel that I wanted to talk and people don't want to talk about this is, वो बागबान is a very famous movie. और बागबान का एक डायलॉग है, अगर एक बच्चा अपने बाप अपने बच्चे को एक जिंदगी के पहले कदम उठाने में मदद कर सकता है, तो वो बच्चा अपने बाप के आखिरी कदम उठाने में मदद क्यों नहीं कर सकता है? When we talk about the succession to the senior people or those who wanted to retire, they really feel that after the succession, the family will not value them. They'll not get the due respect. But that's not the truth. The point is, if we have planned it into a right way, then definitely we'll get a right kind of things in place, and that will give a right kind of result to us. And that is gonna happen. Sorry. So I really wanted to make sure and make your kind attention that we must plan for it and document everything, whatever the things has came to us the right way. That is the way forward to it. Let me take you back once again so that I can dive into the technical part of my section about these 3-4 stages which I have talked about. Owner vision. Owner's vision means a business plan should be in our hand. Our vision and mission should not be that which we have copied from some other website and pasted into our company. It should be original vision and mission through which a person can come and join your business. Your family member should come and dive into for that vision, for that mission. A business should be system driven. That is required. The next generation really wanted to grow up with a system driven kind of an environment. The environment where every employee has been grown up into a right way. That kind of vision we have to incorporate. Our business owner should incorporate at the beginning. Then the family constitution comes in. What is the family constitution? What are all the sentiments of the family? What are the management philosophy and what are the family philosophy? How we can create a synergy between these two things and create a better way out for it. Then alignment of the family. Family constitution also consists of a different family meetings, family gatherings, where we can talk about the vision and mission of the companies, vision and mission of the family, of the group, and all of these kind of things should happen there. And the alignment between these things, that how the things which have been decided by the family should come into a board of the company and they should take it forward. What are the ways to take it forward? And then giving a due course of understanding that who is the right successor, who can take it forward, giving a competency test to him or her, and then making an understanding and realize that whether that person is able to run that business into a right way, and then parallelly grooming him or her. That is going to be the case, and then we'll take it forward to the estate plan. So after Amitabh Bachchan's dialogue, my understanding is that we must understand the law first. If you understand the law, this is not going to be the case for us, right? So what law says? If somebody has passes away without making a will or with making a will, then what are the consequences to it and how the law looks like for this? If a person dies intestate without making a will, then for the Hindu, Jain and Sikh, Hindu succession law will apply. For Christian, Parsi, Juhi and other people, Indian succession law will apply. And for Muslim, Shariat law will apply. Second, if person passes away by making a will, that is testamentary succession. In that case, in case of Muslims, Shariat law will apply, and for rest all of the people, Indian succession law will apply. So what's the difference? The difference is that Hindu, Jain or Sikh family, if dies without making a will, then Hindu succession law will apply. These are the 2-3 different laws which talks about the succession into a different way. And we must understand that what are rights and obligations and things available as per the law. Then only we can plan into a right way. So, if a Hindu male dies without making a will, then the estate will go to the class 1 legal heir. If there is no class 1 legal heir, then class 2 legal heir. If there is no class 2 legal heir, then agnants. And if there is no agnants, then cognants. These are the flow for transition the estate. So what is class 1 legal heir? Class 1 legal heirs are son, daughter, mother, widow, children of a predeceased son, widow, daughter-in-law, children of a predeceased son of a predeceased son. That is what the category of the class 1 legal heir. If there is no class 1 legal heir, remember that in the class 1 legal heir, the father is not there. Your father cannot be your class 1 legal heir. Your mother is your class 1 legal heir. Your daughter, your son, your wife, everybody is a class 1 legal heir, but father is a class 2 legal heir. In the class 2 legal heir, we have father, sibling, grandparents, parents, siblings, etc. In the class, after the class 2, if there is no class 2 legal heirs alive, then we will move to the agnants. Anybody who is alive from the male side of that person. If not, then the female side, the cognate side will be seen. That is what the approach, and that is how the transition of this complete thing is taking place. Generally, consultants do not have the succession plan, and they are what are brain driven. All the experiences is right, sir. But when we can make some product out of our consultation, when we are able to make or create something which can be passed on to the next generation with a proper competency, then we can plan for it. That is one. Second, if a person is not having a competency within your family, then you can pass on your succession or give your estate or rather your business to some other person who is an employee of your company. Outside succession can also be planned. In case of a consultation business or any such business which has been driven by some certain kind of a knowledge or a skill set, that can be transferred to the outside people also. We can get the value out of it. We can get that money out of it. I'll talk to you on this on a later stage. Likesh Nayarji, no, sir. Objection, please let me know what is your objection. Right? So class 1 legal heir, class 2 legal heir, class 1 and 2 if not there, then agnants, then cognates. Agar class 1 legal heir available hai, then all the asset will be transferred to class 1 legal heir. No class 2 legal heir will come. If there is nobody in the class 1 legal heir, then only we'll move to the class 2 legal heir and then agnants and cognates. Otherwise, we will not move to the next level. Let us understand it into a better way. If P head dies, leaving behind mother M, 2 sons S1 and S2, and 2 daughters D1 and D2, how the share is going to be? So mother, son, and daughter all are the class 1 legal heir, and the class 1 legal heir will, if they are present, then they'll get an equal stake. Everybody will get 1/5 stake of Mr. P's property when P will die without making a will. So mother is one of the person, son, the second son, daughter 1 and daughter 2. All are going to take the stake. Second, अब next level पे चलते हैं जहाँ पे if P dies leaving behind son S, widow or predeceased son S1, S1W, predeceased daughter daughter's son, and daughter D, DD. So these are the big hierarchies that are gonna place. So we have to check it out, that we have to go into detail of it. So for example, Mr. P having a 2 son and daughter and 1 son who has been died. So in that case, 1/4 will be having a share of everyone's, and post that the one who came into their downline will get the share out of that share only. They are not allowed to get the complete share as in the first class 1 legal heir are having. In case of a Hindu female dies, then class 1, class 2, and class egnant and cognate will not apply. This is going to be the hierarchy. First, son, daughter, and husband. If there is no son, no daughter, and husband, then heirs of the husband. If I talk about the heirs of the husband, then this will be the hierarchy which is going to take place. As if the male has died, this will be distributed as the class 1, class 2, egnants and cognants in the same way. If there is no heirs of the husband, then parents of that female. The parent has been given the next stage to it. If parents are not alive, then heirs of the father and then heirs of the mother. This is how it's gonna be the case for distribution of the assets. If one dies without making a will and she is a female, right? A Hindu female dies intestate, leaving behind her husband, 2 sons, and parents. So, how they're going to be divided? It is 1/3 to everybody. Parents will not have any stake because husband and sons are alive, and husband and son are at the first category. If first category is alive, then this will be distributed equally into that category, not to the other person. Sorry. Right. Next, how many of you understand the concept of nominee? How many of you have registered your nominee into your bank account, demat account, all the places, the insurances, and everybody? How many of you registered your nominee? And how many? Please, if you have registered, type yes, yes, why, anything. Registered, yes, 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 yes. In my opinion, nominee is a trustee and not the legal heir. Very good, sir. You have really made a good research on this topic.
This problem normally we face in our housing societies.
Right, right, sir. So when we see majority of the people understand that I have applied for the nominee and my bank account, demat account, and all the properties have been backed up by the nominee, and nominee will get the money when I die. The answer is no. Nominee is just a trustee. It is just a time gap management. He is just a custodian of your money. He cannot be the legal heir, the person who has been mentioned. If you have not make a will, then this should be distributed as per the law, which we have discussed just now. So nominee will receive the asset of that died person. It is a stopgap management only. If somebody has died by making a will, then the property will be distributed as per the will. If somebody has died without making a will, then it will be distributed amongst the people who have been mentioned into the law, succession law and Hindu succession law. So just wanted to give an example. I made my wife as my nominee. I have my mother alive, my 2 daughters, and my wife. They'll be my legal heirs. My nominee is my wife. So my wife will get the fund, but it is her responsibility, or my daughters or my mother can claim their fund from my wife, because my wife is just a custodian of that money. She'll get 1/4 share, and rest all the share will be given to my daughter, 1/4 to my another daughter, and 1/4 to my mother. That is what the law says. So we must all understand that nominee, if registered, then doesn't mean that aapka succession planning ho gaya. Sorry, my throat is not well. Please excuse me for this. So that is nominee is just a stopgap management. It is not compulsory that all the money will go to the nominee and he will receive that. So, will versus nominee, what will prevail? Will prevail. If I have made a will and I have mentioned that my bank account will be given to my wife, my nominees are my daughters, but being I have mentioned into my will that my property will go to my wife, that will go to my wife's name. Right? Chali. After understanding that if somebody dies without making a will, let us understand if somebody dies with making a will, then what is going to be the case and how we can take it. Yes, sir, I'll talk about the probate in some time. So, testamentary succession, making a will. Sorry. Making a will. So, will is what? If person dies by making a will, then it will be treated as a testamentary succession and the property will be distributed as per the will. As simple it is, will is nothing but my wish, my desire, my intent. That's what I want. A will details out the manner or to which the person wanted to distribute this property. A will takes into effect only after the death of that testator, the one who is making it. A will can be revoked at any point of time, and a will always speaks from the grave. When I say that always speaks from the grave, that means your will be effective after your death. It cannot be into your lifetime that you are able to see your will being effective. It always takes effect post your death. That is what the will is. So will is nothing but a wish and desire of yours that how you wanted to distribute your property and how you wanted to take it forward. Who can make a will? Any person who's a major and of a sound mind. He can be male or female, can make a will. Illiterate person can also make a will. Very old person can also make a will. Married woman can also make a will. Anybody who is of a sound mind and a major can make a will. There is no way. There is no way to skip this. Anybody who is of a major and of a sound mind can make a will. How to make a will? A will can be handwritten or typed. It is not required that it should be typed only. It should be stamped, signed and stamped, marked as a testator. The testator has to give a thumb impression or signed it. There should be 2 witnesses, properly dated. Oral will is cannot be executed. Only a Muslim law or a soldier can make a oral will. Otherwise, no person can make a oral will. And clarity of the beneficiary should be there. Will is not required to be stamped, to be registered. No legal format has been prescribed. There is no legal format. You are not supposed to go and register your will. Even on a plain paper, a will can be taken forward. A will can have an executor who can help in executing. I always advise to the people, we all know that will is not required to be get registered. We can make it into a simple paper. But my simple advice is go and register it so that it will not create any kind of ambiguity post your death. A registered will is having a least chance to challenge. Any unregistered will can be challenged at any point of time to a court, and that can create a mess to a family. So I always advise go and register it. It will be a better approach to take the will forward. Who can be the beneficiary? Anybody can be the beneficiary. Yes. Relative, friend, employee, servant, कोई भी बन सकता है. Your CA, your lawyer can also be your beneficiary. Anybody whom you feel that you wanted to give the things can be a beneficiary. Can we make pet as an legal heir? My dog, my pet, I love him so much. Can I make him my legal heir? He don't have a PAN card or Aadhaar card. Can we make him? The answer is yes. By creating a trust, many people have planned for the will for giving their estate to their pets and dogs so that they can be betterly taken care of. There is one concept that called a joint will. Joint will means where the husband and wife jointly can make a will. A will can be of joint will is get an effect of both the people. Now, both the people make a one will in which if one dies, then the property will move to the another person. If husband dies, then to the wife. If wife dies, to the husband. If both died, then as per their condition with whom they wanted to distribute it. Foreign property will, we may have to make a foreign property will separate for all the person, for all the estates in different countries, and we can give a cross references to our Indian will or to those will that we having a these kind of asset lying into the foreign country also. Limitation of a will, I always say that limitation of a will means that will always speaks from the grave, that once you pass away, then only it will be effective. The only solution if you wanted to take it your will forward without your dying is creation of a trust. By creating a trust, we can make it and structure it into a right way. And if all of these things can be happen, then we can plan the estate planning into a right way and get your exit into a right way. So what I really wanted to mention here is, after understanding all of this, it gets clear that we're having three ways to get out of our business. One is getting a handover. Till now, we are able to conclude that we'll retire if we'll make all of these plans ready and all of things will come up automatically. So there's one more question that sir has raised about the probate. So probate is a process in which the person get registered and get a certificate of probate from the court that this is how he has made the will, these are the legal years, and this is how the property is going to distribute it. There are few states in which the probate is compulsory. There are many states within India that probate is not required. If probate is required, then it should be taken into effect on the right time when you are making a will to get it effective and to get it implemented and executed into a right way. Probate is a very good way because it really defines and certifies that this is how the person has decided and this is how it is going to be. So that is what the probate is, sir. So what else you wanted to know about the probate, please let me. So after retirement and everything, just I wanted to conclude here that when we understand that these are the 5-step approach we have to follow to plan for the succession. So what we have all did is what is succession planning, when to plan for it, and why we should plan for it. Post that we have understood how part of it, that how we can plan for it. How makes us explain the 5-step approach of it. That is first, family, your owner's vision, family constitution, alignment with the family and business, successor identification and grooming, and last is estate planning. For the estate planning, the basic law which we have discussed is going to apply. We have to understand that we'll make a will in such a way it's going to effective on the right time, in the right way. Post this, I just wanted to conclude by saying that the best action plan that you can take is 3 ways to plan for your succession. First, hand over the business. Hand over the business means there's some competent person within your family who can take your business forward. Like Ambani Group, there's a family who has already came up. They have taken up the business forward. That is what the succession planning by handing over. Second is expansion. Expansion comes when the things has been created on a board. The structured board who are taking the things forward. There is no family member itself. There can be another person who can take the things forward, like a Tata Group has done. Third is an exit strategy. Exit strategy means that you feel that nobody in my family is competent enough or wanted to continue into the business. Second, I don't want to create any such kind of a board or things. Then the third stage comes where we can say that we wanted to exit by merger, selling, acquisition, or any kind of strategic movement that we can do. For example, Tata has acquired a distillery. Any of these kind of things can take place and we can plan our succession in any 3 ways. So to conclude, succession means meant for the rich people or old people. My answer is even a chai ki thadi wala can plan for the succession. Succession planning is about the retirement. No, succession planning, retirement is the last stage. Before that, we have 4 stages and we have to finish that stage first. Then only we'll move to the retirement stage. Giving up the ownership means giving up the control No. If we can make a succession plan, a retirement plan in the right way, then it doesn't mean that we'll lose the control in the business. I have registered my nominee, they'll be the beneficiary of my asset. No, nominee is just a custodian of asset. The beneficiary will be as per the law or as per your will itself. So that is what in the Rajnikant styles, that is a lot of things that we have to do into a succession planning, and we have to plan for it into a right time and right way. There is no effect into my business profit even if I'll not plan for the succession. The Boston Consulting Group study, which I have shared with you, has already explained you that really makes an effect that if you have made a planned transition and unplanned transition. There will be no constitution, there will be no conflict between my family values and my business culture. The family values and business culture are clearly correlate with each other. Education and experience is the only way to learn. No, mentoring and coaching is also another way through which you can make your successor groom up. Verbal communication is good enough. There is no requirement of documentation. My answer is that requirement of documentation is at every place in this succession process. That is what the succession is meant about. So what to do now? My simple suggestion, just understand that what is your present as this analysis of yours. So what is your present situation? What are your family metrics and family legacy is all about? What are the 5-step approach and how you can apply it into your business, and choose the right kind of exit strategy. That within your family, you will do the succession, outside your family, you will do the succession, or you will exit, or you will plan for the strategic exit from the business. Accordingly, all the steps should be planned up, and accordingly, the things will be taken up into the direction. A small gift, a token of love from my side. If you will scan this, then you will get a gift from my side. The gift is that my book small summary, you will get it. You can understand, you can read that and go through it again and again, and you will get the answers of your questions, whatever you have raised it up within you. So the book is of around 300 pages, and you'll get a summary of this book into around 40 pages. And I'll give you a checklist also, which you can take up and see that how much you are able to finish your work and till what level you are able to complete it, and to what level you have reached up till now for the planning of your succession in this succession. Thank you so much for your patience listening and understanding my views on this. There will be many questions. I know that if there's any question you can raise up, we can talk about those questions and we can discuss into more detail, whatever the questions you are having into your mind. Thank you so much, sir. But if there's any question, I love to answer that.
Raviji, you gave various stages of succession plan. The last step was the exit.
Right.
So in case of an exit, what is the ideal way to adopt while exiting from the business?
So first, I just wanted to understand that which way you wanted to choose. Your family person is going to come up, or an outside person by creating a board, or you think that I'll just exit from the business and take the value out of this business?
Outside person.
Outside person is going to come up. So first, we have to make a document where you'll align your business plan. What is your business plan and how it look like for coming 5 years and 10 years? And that outside person should also align with your vision and mission that you wanted to take it forward. Right? And then slowly and gradually, you will keep on passing the things to him. That is how the transition is going to take place. That is what your question is, right?
No, my question is pertaining to the commercials, basically. What should be the ideal terms I should detect? I'm not interested in knowing the process.
Right.
Process I let down.
Right.
Yeah.
So commercials are making a business valuation first. What is your business valuation and how much stake you wanted to dilute? You wanted to completely dilute, or you wanted to partially dilute and get your retirement fund coming up from there. And the kind of dilution you are making, how this is beneficial for you, what kind of proportion that they can give you for that point of time, for that per se. So for example, first valuation per point will come in, and then see it as if you are getting an exit by creating some other person coming into a picture, and they'll buy your stake. If they'll buy your stake, then and what price that you are able to sell it on. There's a lot of valuation methods which SME can use. One is their book value or the fair market value of the assets and everything, along with their goodwill calculation and other things. And the second is discounted cash flow method, in which will compute the profitability of next 5 years, along with the EBITDA margins, that what are the EBITDA margins of your business. And as per that EBITDA margin, will create a valuation of your business. Accordingly, we can say that on the dilution of this much percentage, you will get that much of money. That is what the valuation plays a big role, and that is how that we can plan for the exit.
MOU is sufficient document for that purpose, or we need to have some exit agreement as such?
No, sir. You have to make an exit agreement. You have a private limited company or it's a proprietorship partnership stake.
One is a partnership, one is a private.
So for the private limited company, I'll say that create a shareholder agreement and a share subscription agreement, SHA and SSA. They are the good document in which you can bind up that person and you can have your control and stakes into that business, binding up and giving them a target that they'll have to do it into this way. And that is how you are bind the company and their coming directors, promoters, and the people who are taking up and managing the things. That is a particular way to go for the private limited company. For the partnership and other company, if it is possible, then merge it into a one company so that you can make one combined SHA and SSA, a group combined SHA and SSA. That will be how the binding will be. So MOA se jada ya memorandum of understanding se jada, I'll believe that SHA and SSA plays a very vital role in case of the companies. In all the structure, we follow these kind of agreements, and they are critically executable, and I'll say very heavily enforceable to a person who's going to come.
Thank you, Raviji. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. If there's anybody person who wanted to raise any question, please feel free.
Sir, good morning. Sometimes the successor may not succeed. Then what is the problem of successors? If a husband, father is doing some business, he transfers success to his son. Son will cannot improve that one. Then how can the father have help to him?
So first we have to understand that why it is happening. One, I've given one example, very beautiful example, that a small baby understands how to hold the hand, but doesn't know how to leave the things. In the same way, many a time I realize that the business owner is also having the same kind of a problem. The business owner understands how to make a grip into a business, but they don't understand how to lose out the grip from the business. How they can leave it to the next generation. One. Second, if the person is not competent or not able to do a right kind of a decision making, I've given you a few examples. Experiential learning and things are the other way, but grooming through mentors, creating a mentor in their life, and coaching format. There are a lot of business coaches, there are a lot of people who give a guidance into these kind of a small segments. They must take an advice of those people. They must join those kind of things. They must join those kind of a course where they groom up themselves into a skilled way where they can competently run the business and show into the right direction.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. And mentors plays a very vital role, sir. So I believe that sometime as a parent, we don't become a good mentor for our children, and they really don't want to take a mentorship from us. But there can be some other person who can come into and chip in into and become a mentor for your kid, and then he can guide him and make him and give him his way. That is what the forward looks like.
Raviji, a very vague question. I mean, I leave it to you whether you want to answer this question or no. Since you have got a lot of experience in handling these succession plans, that is what I learned from your speech. What are the potential threats in succession plans? Where and what are the precautions rather to be taken for not making it failure?
So one is we don't plan for, one is documentation, which I have mentioned, sir. One, people don't feel that to document it. They all are having the things in their brain, and they just last document that they create is will and these kind of a thing. But I say let's document every stage so that you can understand that why it is happening, and the person who's approaching can also understand. One. Second, we don't make a contingency plan to it. Contingency plan to it means if this is not going to happen, then what? Say, for example, you have made a person who's competent enough will take your business forward. But what if he's not able to do, then what we will do? The contingency is always missing in those kind of things. So contingency plan, and what I'll say, your a plan B and uncertainty needs to be taken care while planning for the succession as well. Because when we think for the succession, it looks very gaudy, it looks very easy. But when we start entering into, there are very kind of emotion, there are very kind of a human behavior that got shift. There are many such kind of things has happened within that journey itself that either a person don't want to continue or don't want to continue the succession journey. If not, then what is going to be the case? So, for example, with one of our clients, we are working from last 2 years for the planning of the succession, and suddenly at a particular stage, the boy has came and he said that no, I don't want to continue the business. I want to go to the foreign, and I got a job, and I'm going to continue that job. Then, when I went into the deeper of it, we realized that the person is not creating a system which can be a transparent system, and the son want a complete transparent system. And they feel that I'm not able to give my potential out of it, and the complete plan has failed up. And his son is not agreeing. So now we don't have the second plan to in place. So we must have a contingency plan into the succession plan itself. Either the succession plan is your own contingency plan, but still to a contingency plan we have to create. That is one thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful listening and being a wonderful audience, and for wonderful questions. And
Thank you, Raviji. It was really beautiful and very informative program you organized. And thanks to ICS and their team and Dr. Kataria for giving us opportunity to participate in this program and very regular basis organizing such type of program. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ravi. Once again. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So now I request everyone, if anyone have any question, they can unmute yourself or put in the chat box. So I think, sir, there is no more questions, so we move ahead. Our next session is on 12th August 2013. It shall be taken by Ms. Krishna Datta on topic performance mindset. She shall be covering linkage to management systems, information, impact and solutions, tangible and intangible outcomes, followed by question and answer session. ICS is pleased to provide you all its research and development, integrated management system, QMS, EMS, OHSS, excellence in education management, ISO made easy in Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, and Hindi. For reading any of the above books, please contact Ms. Sushma Tindalkar on the given number and mail. Feedback form. Please register on www.sadgunsang.org and go in your login and give us your valued feedback. So thank you, Ravi sir, and all the delegates as well as all the participants who were participating in today's Sadgunsang session. Now it's time to officially close this session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.